You know how it usually happens. You're at home, maybe on your phone, or you're working, and then the fan starts to slow down, the light flickers, and before you know it, it goes off. NEPA has taken the light again. And at that point, you just find yourself asking the same question: why does this keep happening? Because when you think about it, after all the money that has been spent on power, after all the promises over the years, you would expect things to be more stable by now, but they are not. And for a long time, I thought the reason was straightforward: bad leadership, corruption, poor management. But the more I look into it, the more it becomes clear that the problem is deeper than that. There is a structure behind it. And once you understand how structure works, it becomes easier to see why this keep happening. I'm Kumak, and this is Kumak Explains. Let's break it down. Let me start with one story. January 27 to 26, Tuesday morning, around 11 a.m., something happened in Gombe, a small town at the power station. The kind of thing that should be fixed easily. But instead of getting fixed, it spread from Gombe to Jeba, from Jeba to Kainji, and from Kainji to Ayede. Then the whole grid collapsed. Not just Gombe, not just the north, the whole country. One small problem, one place, and everywhere went dark. Now, the people in charge will tell you it was a partial system disturbance, but you just know that the lights went off, and this is not new. In 2024, the grid collapsed 9 times. In 2025, more than 10 times. In 2026, it already collapsed twice before January ended. But don't let anyone tell you that this is a one-time thing. This is a pattern, and when something keeps happening again and again, it is not an accident anymore. It is how the system works. Let me break it down small. Nigerian electric system has 3 parts. First part, generation. This is where they make the lights. Power plants in Delta, Rivers, Kainji, Shihoro, places like that. Second part, transmission. This is how they move the lights from the power plants to your area. Think of it like a highway for electricity. Third part, distribution. This is the discos, the people who collect your money. Ikeja disco, Eko disco, Abuja disco, the ones you probably course every month. Each part depends on the other. If the first part fails, the second part gets nothing. If the second part fails, the third part gets nothing. If the third part fails, you get nothing. But there's another problem. The power plants need gas to work. Over 70% of our electricity comes from gas. So if the gas stops, the light stops. And right now, the gas is not flowing well. The power plant needs about 1,600 million units of gas every day to work properly. As of February 2026, you are getting less than 700 million, less than half. Meaning, if everything else worked properly, you would still have darkness because the fuel is not there. Now, add another problem: money. The power plants are owed over 6 trillion naira by the discos and the government. The gas companies are owed billions by the power plants. The discos are owed billions by customers. People like you who either pay or won't pay because the light is not reliable. So nobody is getting paid on time. And when you don't get paid, you stop working. The power plants generate less, the gas companies supply less, and the discos invest less. And you just sit in the darkness. That is the cycle. Now, because the grid is not reliable, another business has grown: generators. I spoke to a generator dealer in Lagos. Let me call him Emeka. Emeka has been selling generators for 12 years. He told me the business has never been better. Before, he said, people used to buy small generators, the one that can power few bulbs and a television. Now, they want big ones, 11 kVA, 20 kVA. They want to run freezers, AC, washing machine, everything. So why the change? Because the light is so unreliable that generator is no longer backup. Generator is now the main thing. Think about that. In a country with oil, with gas, with multi-billion-dollar refinery, the most reliable light comes from a machine that makes noise and burns fuel. I met a barber in Surrey. His name is Christopher. He told me that if your light is not on, customers will just go to the next shop. Nobody will wait for you. Every day, he prays his generator doesn't break, because if it breaks, he will have to borrow money to fix it or close his shop. He doesn't plan his business around the grid anymore. He plans his business around his generator. That's not how it should be, but that's how it is. Let me ask you something. If the government has spent trillions on power, where did the money go? Good question. Between October 2024 and September 2025 alone, the government spent almost 2 trillion naira on electricity subsidies. 2 trillion in 1 year. That's the money the government paid so that your tariff will be lower than the actual cost of producing the light. But despite those subsidies, the system still loses money. The power plants are still owed trillions. The gas companies are still owed billions. So where does the money go? Some of it goes to pay workers, some goes to maintain equipment, some goes to contractors, some disappears. But here is what I found interesting. The discos, the one collecting your money, they have paid exactly 0 naira in dividend to the government since privatization. 0, meaning they are not making profit, or if they are not sharing it. So why would they invest in a new transformers? Why would they extend wires to your village? Why would they fix anything? If they are not making money, what's the point? That is the question the government does not want you to ask. Here is something that will shock you. In February 2026, the people managing Aso Rock went to the National Assembly to defend their budget, and they said something that should make every Nigerian angry. They said the presidential villa is disconnecting from the national grid. Yes, the people running this country are giving up on the light. They are building their own solar system. They have already tested it. The State House Clinic switched to solar in May 2025 and hasn't used generators since. They budgeted 10 billion naira for this project in 2025, another 7 billion in 2026. Now, they defend this decision. They said it will save money. They said the White House in America also uses solar. But here's the difference. The White House still uses American grid. Solar is just extra. The villa is just cutting off completely. They look at the system they are supposed to fix. They look at the trillions they have spent. They look at the grid that keeps collapsing, and they decided to build their own. Not for you, for themselves. If people in charge doesn't believe the system can work, why should you? Let me tell you about something that happened in Gombe. Not the voltage disturbance I talked about earlier, something worse. In 2025, a high tension line collapsed in Gombe. A wooden pole broke, the wire fell down. It touched a low voltage line below, and the electricity surged into nearby houses. 5 people died, 13 were injured, their televisions, their refrigerators, their meter, all destroyed. The government agency in charge of electrical safety investigated. They found out that the disco had been warned. 2 months before the incident, the agency wrote to them telling them there were problems that could kill people. The warning was ignored. The agency said something in their report that stuck with me. They said this could have been prevented, but it happened. That's the real cost of this system. Not darkness, not inconvenience, death. At this point, I started asking a different question. Not what is broken, but who benefits from the things staying the way they are. Think about it. When the grid collapsed, what do? You buy fuel for your generator. That money goes to the fuel marketers, filling stations, generator dealers. Are they complaining? No. When the discos don't invest in infrastructure, they don't spend money. They keep more money for themselves. When the gas companies are owed billions, they can demand higher prices. When the government keeps paying subsidies, contractors keep getting paid. Everyone in the chain has found a way to make money from the darkness. The only person who doesn't benefit is you, the person sitting in the darkness, the person buying a generator, the person paying the bill for light that never came. That is not an accident. That is how the system currently works. So, what do you do with this information? I'm not telling you to stop paying your bills. I'm not telling you to give up. I'm telling you to stop believing that the problem is simple. Stop believing that one reform, one more minister, one more president will suddenly fix everything. The problem is not one person. The problem is the structure. Gas people, power plants people, transmission people, distribution people, government people, regulator people. Every layer has another chance for things to go wrong. And as long as the people at each layer benefits from the wrong things, nothing will change. But here's what you can do. Start thinking differently. Start looking at solar. Start looking at mini grid. Start looking at ways to produce your own light. The national grid may not get fixed, not because it is impossible, but because the people who could fix it have no reason to try. So stop waiting for them. Remember that plane I started with? The fan slowing down, the lights flickering, then dark. Next time it happens, you will know the truth. It is not bad luck. It is not just corruption. It is a system built on weak infrastructure, wrong incentive, and people who have learned to make money from your suffering. The light keeps going off because the system was never designed to stay on. I'm Comac, and this is Comac Explains. If you want more breakdown like this, how things actually work, who benefits, and why nothing changes, hit subscribe. Comment below how many times did the light go off in your area this week. I read every comment. Next video, how Nigerian loans app traps you in debt. See you in the next one.